one team that's getting a lot of praise is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And especially for this move after they traded for Justin Fields, I've read a lot of reaction and a lot of praise going towards Pittsburgh. Oh, they fleeced the Bears. What an offseason they're having. This is a great offseason so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers actually improved this offseason. Like, to me, like, I still view them the same today as I did this time last week. Not a playoff team. Because here's what they really did. This is what the Steelers did this offseason. All they did was add 2 quarterbacks nobody wanted. And for me, all you were doing then is just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. You acquired big names, but did you actually acquire a quarterback or quarterbacks that can help get your team further than they did last year with Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph? My answer is no. I mean, the names changed, but does the production? Maybe slightly, but to me, not enough to move the needle on the Steelers going into 2024. I mean, Russell Wilson, who, by all reports as well, is going to be still the starter, at least going into week number 1, despite the Justin Fields trade. Russell Wilson, I think, for me at this point, his ceiling is average. I think with what we've seen in terms of physical decline, in terms of play style, I don't think he's capable at this point in his career of being more than the 15th, 16th, 17th best quarterback in the NFL. That's it. I think now because he's someone who, like, he doesn't really work within the constructs of the offense. He's someone that I think just looks to throw the ball deep down the field too often and does not have very good decision-making skills anymore, runs out of the pocket way earlier than he should. Like, you look at how he played in Denver, even with a really good offensive mind in Sean Payton, I never watched that Broncos offense and said, wow, explosive. Wow, they are dangerous. Wow, this is even consistent. That was a roller coaster, and even during some of the best times of Russ last year with Sean Payton, it never felt like it was sustainable or like that it was dangerous. Dangerous, to steal his phrase. Never felt that way. So that's why I like when I watch Russ, and this is coming from someone, by the way, who is a big Russ supporter, who, can't say that without a straight face because it brings laughter every time, who picked the Broncos to win the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The first year that Russ got to Denver with Nathaniel Hackett. That blew up in my face. But I was someone who even doubled down, not picking them to win the Super Bowl last year, but I thought the Broncos would be one of the 7 playoff teams in the AFC. I thought Sean Payton would get the most out of Russ, and Russ still had enough in the tank to be a playoff caliber quarterback. I'm wrong about that. Russ is not a playoff caliber quarterback anymore. I think, to me, he's nothing more at this point than average. So the Steelers added an average quarterback, and then they also added Justin Fields, who, sure, you could look at the price tag of, oh, wow, so cheap, like what a steal. But if he was so cheap, why did no one else trade for him? And there are plenty of teams right now that could have used Justin Fields' services. No one made a call. No one made a trade. Why? That should show you right now what the league thinks of Justin Fields. They're not high on him. They don't think his inconsistent and poor play was because of the Bears and the pieces they had around him. There's not a lot of belief right now in Justin Fields. And even if there was, like with what the Steelers are doing in 2024, how could you even think that he could resurrect his career in Pittsburgh? Like, think about what he's being brought in to do. Mike Tomlin already, as being reported by NFL Network, already called Russ and told him, hey, you are still the starter. We are trading for Justin Fields, but you are still our QB1. So if you're the Steelers, you traded for Justin Fields with the intention of him not playing. So you have a 1-year rental because there's no way in hell you're picking up Justin Fields' $25 million fifth-year option. There's no way. Even with Russ on the cheap deal, you're not spending $25 million next year to guarantee that Justin Fields will be in your team. So they're going to, without a doubt, decline Fields' fifth-year option. So this is going to be his final year before he goes back, or he goes to, I should say, not back. He goes to the free agent market. So you got 1 year of Justin Fields on your team. with the thought of being he's not going to play. And if, God forbid, Russ gets hurt or is inconsistent, let's say, and midway through the year they make a switch, is 8 or 9 games going to be enough to be like, we got to sign Justin Fields now long term and figure out a contract extension? I don't think so. So I don't really see how Justin Fields is going to be on the roster for the Steelers in 2025. So they traded for a backup quarterback that you don't intend to play, that is probably going to be on a different team in 2025. What did you actually accomplish? What was the big goal there? Why all the praise for a move that, again, is for nothing more than a backup? I don't really understand it. There's a lot of parading for the Steelers on Saturday when the news came down that they were trading for Justin Fields. And with the acquisition of Russ, with telling him he's QB1, I don't see, again, the benefit or the upside of when Fields is going to play and how he'll develop in just a short time by the time you have to figure out a contract next offseason. So, yes, they did upgrade from what they had, right? Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, even though I'm down on Russ in terms of what he could be again. And in terms of Justin Fields, I still think he has talent to where if he's in the right system, I think he does have a chance of succeeding. I just don't think that situation in Pittsburgh is right for him to where he's going to revive his career. Even though I'm down on that signing and not high on Russ, it is an upgrade. Like those two quarterbacks are better than Pickett, Rudolph, Trubisky, without a doubt. So the quarterback room got better for Pittsburgh last year compared to this upcoming year. But even though it got better, what did it really accomplish? Again, I don't think the Steelers are right now a playoff team. So if you're not a playoff team, why are we praising Pittsburgh? Like, what did they actually do outside of, again, what I would say rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? What do they really accomplish? Like, look at their division. Now, it's tough, but it's a reality that I would say the AFC North is the best division in the NFL going into 2024. Browns, Ravens, Bengals. All three to me better than the Steelers. So we're talking about the Steelers right now, the worst team still after these moves, after bringing in Russ, after trading for Justin Fields, the worst team with the worst quarterback in their division. And you look at the rest of the AFC picture, are they one of the 7 best teams? I don't think so. I would say right now, Bills, Dolphins, Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Texans, Chiefs. 7 teams right there off the bat better than Pittsburgh. Maybe they make the playoffs like they did last year, where a quarterback goes down. Some injury luck also benefits them as well, and they sneak their way as a 7 seed into the playoffs. Okay, you make the playoffs. Are you a threat? Hell no. So, what's the point then? Mike Tomlin's not won a playoff game since 2016. What's the point of just sneaking into the playoffs every year? How is that an accomplishment? How is that a positive? I don't see how that's the case. And that to me is like the best case now for the Steelers. Another 7 seed. Sure, you make the playoffs. Can you win a playoff game? No. And then you're back to the drawing board of what to do in 2025. So that's why I'm just confused, and I don't understand the praise that I have seen the Pittsburgh Steelers getting not only this week, but especially in the last 24 hours after the news of the Justin Fields trade went public. You traded for a backup quarterback. You traded for a quarterback no one else wanted to back up a guy in Russ that I think is nothing more than average. So what'd you actually accomplish? Where are all these good feelings for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming from? They got some bigger names. I would say, from my perspective, they're more intriguing. I'm definitely more excited to watch the Steelers next year than I was at any point last year. That's for sure. I'll give them that. They are more intriguing. I am looking forward to seeing what this Steelers offense looks like compared to last year. But outside of the intrigue, outside of an upgrade at quarterback, and maybe, again, their ceiling being sneaking into the playoffs as a 7 seed, I don't see how they got better. They got different names, upgraded their quarterback room, but I don't think they upgraded it enough to where this team is a threat to win the division or a threat to win a playoff game, let alone multiple playoff games. So to me, the Steelers are in the same spot they were last year and the last few years. An average team that is good enough with a break or two to sneak into the playoffs, but is nowhere near the top of the AFC and the top of the NFL in terms of competing for a Super Bowl. So that's why I don't understand the praise. I think it's misguided. I think all the Steelers did this offseason so far, in signing Russ and trading for Justin Fields, was just rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. Nothing more than that. This team to me is still the worst team in the AFC North. They are not a playoff team, and definitely not a threat. If they do sneak into the playoffs, not a threat to win a playoff game or give anyone a scare. What they actually accomplish.